have something to put on. So basically, as I said, tonight's session, there's no agenda. So it's really about seeing if you've got any questions, if you understand the upcoming exam, you know, how big that exam is, because it really covers all of the teaching materials that we've done. And then the exam is in the first week of the university exam, and it's on that Monday, the 3rd of November. So next week is study week. So next week there's no new material for you guys. So it's basically to prepare yourself for the exam. And I've also made available the formative test too, the feedback. I don't know, have any one of you attempted the formative test yet? And there's no critical thing about that. You can do it whenever you feel you're ready to do it. But I've made available the feedback. So the questions that you see there is more or less what you can expect now in the final exam. The final exam will have mostly MCQs and then also scenario-based questions as well. So with the scenario-based questions, you will get clinical information about the case, and then there will be specific questions around that. So that is mostly the format for it. It's quite a long exam. It's 100 minutes long. So I would suggest that you really try and take some time off before you actually start the exam. Did any one of you do RAD4502? Not. Okay, so this is the first exam that you're going to write, Helena, for us.
I think for you guys, yes, it will be the first one. Yeah.
All right. So then I just need to explain. So I will be sending out information about the exam itself. So the exam is available to undertake from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. But once you start the exam, you've got to finish it. So you've just got one attempt to log into the exam. So make sure that you have got enough time to complete the exam, that there's no distractions for you. And then also the other thing is ensure that you've got enough time to complete the exam before 8 p.m. Now, why I say that? Because I'm the one who actually sits and checks the background, because the exam runs till 8 in the evening. The e-solutions team doesn't support the exam, so I'm the only support that's there. And I can see normally when students log on, and quite often you see students, it's like they've just come from work straight away and then they go straight into the exam. So there's no time to sort of settle themselves down. So I would suggest that you try, even if you just take half a day off when you know more or less. Okay, I've seen Emma's been called in. So she has left. So we're back to you again, Elena. So yeah, so try.
I'll still be on, but I'll just listen instead of having my video on.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we won't talk about you, Emma.
That's all right.
All right, so make sure then that you just get yourself a couple of hours before you actually do the exam. So what I normally do when I send out the information around the exam, I ask the students for the expected start time. It doesn't mean if you tell me I'm going to start at 10, you have to start exactly at 10. The only reason why I'm asking that is so that I can ensure that I am at the computer. So that any of the students, if they have any problems, like if the internet drops off or the images upload very slowly and they see they can't finish the exam, is to contact me. And the number that I give there is linked to my mobile phone. So if there's any issues, contact me and I can extend the exam if needed, you know, and I'll try and help you if anything goes wrong there. So that's quite why the big reason why I'm actually asking for expected start times, so that I know more or less that I need to ensure that I'm available and I'm at the computer at that time. And then in the exam itself, the software that you've been using will be available, and it will be available for all of the cases, not just the scenario cases. So any of the questions that has X-ray images with it, that will be in the image manipulation software. And that's why the exam, the total mark is 80, but we give it extra 20 minutes so that you can use the software and so that you can manipulate, and it gives you just enough time to also do the exam. So that's basically the main thing about the exam itself. So anytime from 8 in the morning, so there's a 12-hour window period that the exam can be undertaken. And then, of course, the exam will cover all the weeks that we've delivered. So starting from week 2, I think that's when we started with information, with the C-spine. The only week that we won't cover is week 5. That's when you submitted your ISAP case. So that's not part of that, but the rest will be up till week 11. So all of that will be assessed. Tony, I don't know if you maybe want to add anything about the exam itself.
Nothing springs to mind immediately, but I think content-wise, could be questions around any of the content, cervical spine, shoulder, humerus, elbow, forearm, wrist,
Fingers,
hands.
Mm.
Yeah. So we can't, don't scrimp on anything. Try to cover the whole lot. And if there's bits that you've maybe skimmed over, maybe because you didn't have very much time in that week, then maybe you need to actually, over the next week and a bit, go back and catch up on that. Might be readings, for example. I know probably some students put the readings aside and maybe don't get to them, and so you might need to go back and actually do some of those, because the readings constitute content as well, and therefore you could find that there's some questions, maybe related to calcific tendonitis of the shoulder, for example. There was a reading on that. There was, I think, a reading around was there a wrist fracture classification reading? But I mean, fracture classifications, you don't need to know the classification precisely, but I think be knowledgeable about classifications, because they're useful information when you come to look at radiographs, because it gives you a guide as to where to look on the radiograph for pathology, particularly injury types, because that's the way the classifications have been structured, to actually indicate, where the pathology is likely to occur. Like for Reichman classification of Colles fractures, for example, there's a detailed list of of the pathologies and where they're likely to occur, and whether they actually involve the radio-ulnar joint or not, or whether they're actually intra-articular with the wrist joint itself. And those sorts of things are an indication as to where fractures occur. And I say that not only for examination purposes, but also for clinical practice purposes. They're really useful things to have in the back of your mind. And as I say, you don't need to learn them precisely. You're not an orthopedic surgeon. But as a frontline radiographer, it can be very helpful for you to have those guides. Puts a bit of structure around it. I like structure. I like to be able to think in structure. So yeah, I think probably that's all for the moment.
For the exam itself. Helena, have you got any questions about the exam?
So thank you so much for the comprehensive information. I think I pretty much know what to expect from the exams. I do have a question though in regards to practice material. We do have the formative test 2, which I am yet to do. Is there any more practice material that we can get just to prep for the exams?
Remember you've got the practice formative test 1 as well, and I think during the semester I've put some short cases in. There's some practice banks as well that's in the Moodle book, so have a look at that. So that should be put you into good stead. But then also, there's other resources available, if you want to look at some other cases.
Okay.
I think Radiopedia is a good one, Helena, and all the other students who are listening to this. Go and have a look at Radiopedia, because Radiopedia's got a lot of good information on it, and it's well written, well structured. And the Collective Minds radiology, which I mentioned very early on, there's a little bit of a hiccup with that at the moment, in that what you need to do is actually send they've taken away the what do they call it, like the direct registration side of it. You've actually got to contact the website and ask for a registration. But I've got a colleague in Sweden who is involved with Collective Minds radiology, and if you wanted to actually get onto Collective Minds, then send me a message tomorrow and I'll get Darren Field, he's actually an Australian but he lives in Sweden, to contact you. And he's good, he'll follow up, he will overnight. You'll get an email from Darren and he'll get you onto Collective Minds. And Collective Minds is a useful way to sort of look at cases where you maybe don't have the answer to what's going on on the radiograph. Some of the cases you will have an answer, a report, if you like, that'll be supplied by radiographers and radiologists from all over the world. But other cases will just be a bit of an unknown, which is kind of good in a way, because it stretches you. It actually gets you to think about what the pathologies might be. And then you can maybe fall back onto your lecture material and onto your readings and the textbook and the journal article readings that we've given you over the weeks should be able to give you the answers to what you're looking at on the radiograph. Some of the pathologies on Collective Minds are a little bit tricky. And look, some of the questions in the exam will be tricky too. There'll be different levels of complexity to the questions. So there'll be some easy ones, you could get over those quite quickly, and there'll be some that you actually have to stop and think about. So if you want to, anyway, in summary, if you want to get onto Collective Minds, give me a yell. Just send me an email, and if you otherwise, you can use other sources on the internet, and Radiopedia being a good one. You've kind of got to have like a pathology that you're looking for on Radiopedia. There is another one, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's for radiology assistants in the US. Do you remember the
isn't
name
it
of
just called radiology assistants?
Yeah, it might be called just radiology assistants,
I think
or
so.
something like that. And it's actually quite good. It's got some good information, and it's broken down into regions. So there's, upper limb. You can go to upper limb and you can actually start looking at cases. Yeah, so there's resources out there if you search. But if you're interested in particular pathologies, then you can always just Google that pathology and sort of see what you come up with. you know, I've got to say there's a plethora of radiology resources out there in the world. It's just sometimes a matter of wading through what's good and what's bad. There's some UK sites that are very good as well. And yeah, bit of variation in quality, but it's yeah, there's lots of resources out there, I think, Alina. Does that help?
Yeah, yeah, big time. Thank you, thank you.
I
just
think
was wondering.
especially if there's an area where you think you want to have more information on or more cases, then you can actually, because just to go in blind, it's difficult. But
Mm,
if you can, maybe if you know you're struggling with something, then you can actually go on and do a search for that and then see what comes up.
Yeah, use the terms that
Mm,
are used in your lecture notes, and you can actually search those as key terms, key
yeah.
search terms. And
wonderful.
yeah,
Okay, wonderful. That's my question. I
there's
do
no
have.
end. There's no end of knowledge
Mm,
that you can develop, Helena, and hopefully, even after this course is finished, you'll actually continue to develop and learn about new pathologies. I was
absolutely.
reminded of one last week or earlier this week. Oh no, there hasn't been that much this week. It must have been last week, um, which was a sleeve fracture of the patella, which I'd completely forgotten about to include. And it's not. I think the material's sort of covered in not this course, of course, but in 5109, which is the lower limb one. The material's there, but just sort of knowing the word, the sleeve fracture, makes it possible to search for sleeve fractures and sort of find out about, lower polar avulsion fractures of the patella, particularly in juveniles. Yeah, they're sort of, so there's some sort of tricks to actually be able to do the searching and know the terms. But hopefully what you're doing as part of this course is developing the lingo, developing the language, and that way being able to not only search terms on the web, but also communicate with other members of your team.
Yeah, because the descriptive terminology is one area where radiographers always say they struggle with. They can see the pathology, but describing it accurately can be tricky. So that is a skill that will keep on developing, even once you finish the course as well. A good thing to look at radiologist reports as well, when they come back. Yeah, that's quite helpful. Did you have another question? I thought you had a follow-up question.
Yes. It's actually regarding the portfolio. Sorry
Okay.
to jump shipped. So there are a few like calculations we need to do. So sensitivity, specificity, accuracy. For those stats, do we do it for each case, or is it a summation of all the
It's a
cases?
summation of all. So you will see in the if you go on it was week 1 or 2 where I gave information. It's week 2.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, it's week 1. I'm just looking at it now. So we did the intro to the clinical portfolio. So go to that Moodle book and you can see how you need to calculate it there as well. So you need to compile all of your 25 cases and then you add up all the true negatives, true positives and false negatives and false positives. And then only you work out your sensitivity, specificity and accuracy.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So don't forget to go back to that and have a look. And also how you need to write up each case is really important. Because in the past the students just wrote up and I didn't know when I mark. It's very difficult to find out which case they are referring to. So you don't need to collate, say, all of your elbows together. You can just, as long as you go chronological and say this is case 1, case 2, case 3, and identify, then I know when I mark. And once you have written your preliminary image evaluation and compared it to the radiologist, then do your auditing there. So you would say this case is a true negative, or it could be fractions as well. So it could be if there's 2 pathologies, you've only identified 1. And then it will be half true positive and then half false negative. So those fractions so that I can double check the spreadsheet. There's a spreadsheet that you need to complete which I give, yeah. And I can
Yeah.
just double check that you've done it correctly. And each case must only be equal to 1. So you can't have a case that's 1.5 or something like that. So when you add up your fractions, it must be equal to 1. And the other thing to remember, so say, for example, if you have a case where there is, say, a wrist and a forearm, write it up as 2 different cases, because the students that really struggle to then work out, the true negative and false positive and things like that. So rather write it up as 2 different cases, although the information will be the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, that will do. Thank you.
Emma, I don't know if you can hear us. Have you got any questions if you are listening at the moment?
She might have headed back to work.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's basically the main things we wanted to make sure that you understand about the exam. And also, I will be sending out next week, maybe Monday, I will be sending out all the information, and then also a reminder to just let me know your start time. And as I said, it doesn't have to be on the dot. Sometimes students let me know, okay, something happened, I'll start 2 or 3 hours later. But then also when you send me your start time, it's then when I send you your passwords as well. So you need the passwords so that I can just track and see what's going on in the background with the students.
Oh, so may I just clarify, you mean when we do the exam, we send you our estimated start time and then you'll get back to us with a password link and
Yes,
then
so nearer the time when you write. So say, for
Yeah.
example, you start at 10. Normally, I send it at least half an hour before the
Yeah.
time or an hour before the time, and I'll send you your login details. And then in the exam itself, so you'll get the login details for the Moodle quiz. So everything is run on Moodle. But
Yep.
then in the exam itself, there's a page that has got the software link and also the software login. So it will be, the username is normally exam something, like say exam 70, and then there's a password, and then you log into the software. So that is normally the second page, so that you can open up the software before you actually start the exam, so that any of the questions that has got images that you maybe want to zoom into and look more carefully, you will have it on the software.
Okay, wonderful.
And
Thank you.
don't forget that once you start the exam, you can't
Come back.
stop. You've got to
Mm.
continue. So
Yeah.
you can't decide halfway through, oh gosh, I'd like to go and have a cup of coffee and sort of,
Yeah.
because you'll just lose time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you come back, you'll have lost 10 minutes while you were having your coffee.
And let know the people around you, if you're at home, that you're doing an exam, that they mustn't disturb you. Yeah, because normally, and the students, most of them, it's very close to the finishing time and they finish the whole of the exam. So it's not a case where they go quick, quick, quick. I mean, although it's 100 minutes, I'll be finished in 50 minutes. The majority of the time, they go at least to around about 80 minutes or so for the exam. And some quite close to 100 minutes as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just, there's a lot of thinking that needs to go on, and I would really encourage you to use the software, because with some of the cases, you won't just see it on the, so in the questions there will be JPEG images, but you can't manipulate it on the Moodle quiz. You have to manipulate it on the software, and you might miss some of the pathology if you don't manipulate it with the software, if you don't zoom in and maybe play around with the windowing and so on.
So do you mean like,
make
oh,
sure
sorry.
that, sorry, Helena, but you'll on the sort of second page of the exam, first page is instructions, and then there's a page that actually gives you the link and the details about the image manipulation software. Open the image manipulation software and keep it open on your computer, as well as the exam. So then you can sort of go between the two. You can flick back and forth.
You can just Control and Alt the whole time. Control Alt and flip between the 2 pages. Yeah, it won't log you out. Yeah.
And then each of the questions in the each of the images in the image manipulation software are numbered according to the question number.
Yeah.
So that you'll be able to match them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah.
So if it's the MCQ with an image, it will be say MCQ2 or MCQ5 and scenario 1 or scenario 2. So you'll be able to, on the left-hand side, similar like you have with your PAC system, on the
Yeah.
left-hand side, you'll be able to look at the cases that's there.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
is it like I'm just trying to imagine the format like with our formative test where we have the exam open and then you've got like a JPEG of the image attached to the question, but
Yeah.
also there's
The
another tab
software.
that we can open. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so
So it's
okay.
exactly the same. That's why the formative test gives you an idea. It mirrors basically what you can expect in the exam.
Okay,
If
good.
you have
Wonderful.
dual monitors, would be
Oh,
ideal.
bless. You're gonna have to take this to work. That's all right.
There was something else I thought of, and
Well, Elena, while Tony's thinking, so which units have you completed now? You're not finishing the grad cert yet, eh?
No, far from it. What was the other one? It was the first one. Oh, I don't remember its
Wasn't
name.
it RAD 4502 that you did initially?
the
Hold on.
foundations one.
Let me just double check. No, I did map 5003. That was my
Okay.
first.
Okay.
So it's one of the master's units.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah,
go.
it's one of the elective units that you can do. So you've now done one. So how many units have you completed?
I've done so map 5003. That's just one there last semester, and then this semester I am doing RAD 5108, RAD 5109, and then
Okay.
that's it. This is my first year, and then I'll be doing again
5114 SEM 1.
for next year. I
Yeah.
still got to figure out my courses. I haven't enrolled yet. I just kind of want to finish this side of things first,
Yeah.
and then enroll. But yeah, I think I'm also looking at doing a couple of CT
Okay.
courses next
Units.
year. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then there's
good.
also I think X-ray of the abdo unit. X-ray. I don't remember what it's called.
Chest and abdo.
The
Chest and
chest
abdo.
and
Yeah.
abdo is the RAD 5114. No, the only
Oh, okay.
reason why I'm asking is there's going to be a change in how the units will be delivered. So next year, semester 1, all 4 units will be running. So if you need to still do any from the grad cert, like 5114, you can do that in semester 1. But in
Okay.
semester 2, only 5109 and 5114 will be running.
Okay.
Yeah, so
semester
we are
2.
going to just run 2 units per semester from next year's semester onwards, not all 4 at the time.
Oh, okay.
So the smart thing to do would be to get those units out of the way in semester 1.
Yeah, so you should just do
5114.
5114 SEM 1.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to think about that because I've got 2 CT units in mind, and it's
Okay.
like CT, it's split between there's a 1 and then there's a 2.
Okay.
I don't know if I have time to split it because one of them is a 6 unit and then the other one's a 12 unit, 12 points. something like
Imelda,
that.
5114 will also be a
It's 5114 will be available for semester 2 next year.
Okay. So
Yeah.
and that's one that you have to complete. So
Okay.
So you should be okay, I think, Elena. Yeah.
Okay.
If in doubt, contact Imelda.
Yeah, I will do. Please help. I'm a sinking ship.
Handball that one.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up. Actually, while we're on this topic, can I run it quickly past you? So this is my plan, if possible. One sec, let me just pull it up on the screen.
Do you want to share it?
Yeah, if it loads.
It's remember
Is
this
it your study
recorded.
plan of what you're doing?
Basically a rough draft outline of what I'd like to do.
Okay. I think Tony is saying a good thing is because we're recording. So maybe if you want to, once we finish, I can stop recording and then you can show it to us.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Otherwise, all the students will know what you're doing, what you're studying.
Surprise!
Yeah.
All right. I pulled it up. It's all right if we just stop for a moment.
Yeah. Can I just ask you now with the clinical portfolio, you're okay with all the body regions? You should be able to get cases from all of that. And remember, you must get normal cases as well.
Yes, I almost forgot about that. The other day I went back and I'm like, oh yes, that too. So
Yeah,
I've
because
gone
the
back and compiled
students
it.
tend to, they need to collect 25 cases. Sometimes they've got 23 pathology and 2 normal. And then when something is, then the specificity is very low, and then they think, oh dear, what have I done? I don't know my normals. But if your cases are very small, then it really affects the specificity for the normal cases.
Okay.
I would say at least have a minimum of 5, normal cases. The majority is normally pathology, but 8 to 5 or so, I think should be good. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Have you
So
got
you're gonna show us something that maybe you don't want to share, Helena, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
we
that's
can
okay.
show it afterwards. I just want to double check with Emma if she can hear us. I see she's on. Just make sure that you don't have any other questions, Helena.
Not at the
Okay.
moment.
Emma, can you hear us? Okay, it looks like she's busy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording, and then you can just show us what you want to show. And this, I'm not going to record anymore, so I will post this on the Moodle site under this week 12 under real time, the recording up till now. All right, okay, thank you.